In a quiet corner of the factory, a single sheet of material turned into a sudden trap when it caught on the machine's rollers. Inside the factory, a worker stood close to the machine, carefully guiding a wide sheet into the moving rollers as he had done many times before, the steady hum of the line filling the air. To anyone watching, it seemed like nothing more than another ordinary run, smooth and controlled from start to finish. Then, without warning, the sheet twists as it feeds in, jamming at the rollers. The machine grips it with unstoppable force, pulling it in faster than anyone could react. In an instant, a routine feed becomes a runaway hazard, with the rollers driving forward relentlessly. Never, ever attempt to guide or adjust material while the rollers are still turning, because the same grip that feeds sheets smoothly can also trap and drag with unstoppable force when things go wrong. A single moment of carelessness near an excavator can bring down more than just dirt. On a small construction site, workers stand inside a narrow trench as a yellow excavator digs inches away. The ground is unstable, the walls already cracked, but work continues with little clearance. Every move of the bucket shakes the soil and the structure above them. The excavator's arm scrapes the trench wall, and in an instant the structure gives way. Soil and debris collapse outward, flooding the narrow space and burying tools and materials. What had looked stable moments before unravels in seconds, leaving no margin for escape. Never, ever allow workers to remain inside an excavation when heavy machinery is operating directly against unstable walls. Inside a factory floor, a single step into a press becomes a disastrous mistake. A female worker moves with routine purpose, clearing debris from the inside of the machine. Around her, the environment seems calm, the steady hum of equipment filling the background, but the press itself holds silent tension that no one notices. As she leans further inside, the massive press suddenly springs to life without warning. In a fraction of a second, the upper plate slams downward, locking the machine into its cycle. The unexpected restart transforms routine cleaning into chaos, leaving no room for reaction and exposing how unforgiving automated systems can be when safeguards aren't in place. Do not enter the chamber of a press without ensuring full lockout and energy isolation. A machine that looks still can restart in an instant, leaving no time to move. One frayed wire is all it takes for a routine task to spiral out of control. Inside a long weaving hall, rows of looms hammer away, their constant rhythm filling the narrow space. Along the wall hangs a control cord used to start and stop the machines. It's worn from years of use, insulation stripped, copper shining through. A worker in red reaches for it, unaware of the danger hiding in plain sight. The instant contact is made, the circuit comes alive. Electricity arcs invisibly through the exposed path, locking the control in place. The machines keep running, while the current surges unchecked, turning an ordinary cord into a hidden hazard. Never, ever handle electrical controls or wiring that show signs of wear. Exposed conductors can transform everyday switches into live dangers. Replace damaged cords immediately, and always de-energize before contact. In a quiet workshop, one careless spray turns a simple engine test into an inferno. A blue SUV sits lifted, its hood wide open, cables snaking out to a charger. A young worker holds a spray can near the intake, attempting to coax the reluctant engine to life. The space is cluttered, bags, cans, and electrical cords, leaving no margin for error. At first, it seems routine. The worker sprays the flammable liquid, confident it will help ignite combustion, but instead of a controlled response, the vapors catch instantly. A flash of fire bursts from the intake, racing upward and spreading through the confined space. In seconds, the small workshop fills with heat and smoke, turning a simple test into a full-blown fire emergency. Never, ever introduce accelerants or flammable sprays near an engine intake while it's being cranked. The combination of fuel, mist, heat, and ignition sources creates an explosive hazard that turns routine maintenance into catastrophe. In a single careless step, a worker moves through a doorway and straight toward a hidden void that offers no second chances. While delivering food in a building under construction, a worker in a yellow jacket moves toward the doorway. The entrance looks clear, but just beyond it lies a wide open pit. No barriers, no warnings, nothing to mark the danger. The worker approaches with a steady pace, eyes forward, unaware of what waits directly in the path. Reaching the doorway, the worker steps forward, only to find nothing beneath his foot. The unguarded opening turns the clear-looking path into a sudden drop zone, exposing the danger left unmarked in the workspace. A hole in the floor is a trap waiting for the unwary. Guard it, cover it, mark it, before someone steps where there's nothing to stand on. What's obvious to one person can be invisible to another. At a warehouse dock, a reversing truck drifts too close to the entrance, turning routine unloading into a moment of sudden danger. It is early in the day, with workers and security staff moving through their usual tasks as a delivery truck prepares to dock. The vehicle is packed tight with heavy cargo, and one worker stands at the warehouse entrance, guiding the process as the truck begins its slow reverse. The scene looks controlled, but the space between the truck and the building is far narrower than it appears. As the truck eases backward, its alignment drifts off-center, narrowing the gap against the solid warehouse wall. With no barrier or signal system in place, the space closes rapidly, transforming what seemed like a routine maneuver into a trap zone where there is no safe clearance. Never, ever stand between a reversing vehicle and a fixed structure, because even the smallest movement of the machine can remove all margin for safety. At a demolition site, a single swing of heavy machinery collides with human carelessness in the most dangerous way possible. In the middle of a dusty work site, an orange Hitachi excavator sits in motion. Its bucket arm is raised high, but instead of carrying debris, it carries a person. The man perches on the steel edge as if it were a seat, while others nearby watch. There are no harnesses, no safety measures, only bare trust in a machine never meant to hold people. The operator shifts the arm, tilting it to the side. In an instant, the bucket lurches and sways unpredictably. What seemed like a reckless stunt quickly reveals the true danger of misusing heavy machinery, unstable, uncontrolled, and exposing everyone nearby to sudden risk. This wasn't an accident. It was misuse. Safety demands respecting the design limits of every machine. Never use construction machinery to lift or carry people. Excavators are built for earth and demolition, not for human transport, and one wrong move turns the ride into a fall from height. A routine minute on a busy textile line turns risky the second unsecured fabric meets a bare rotating part that never should have been reachable. A small garment shop floor with several operators seated shoulder to shoulder around a cone winding station. A circular winder spins at chest height, while filled cones and tools crowd the table. Clothing is loose, and the machine runs with exposed rotating belt and open nip points. No fixed guard and no interlocked cover at the feed side. As the worker's dupatta brushes the spinning winder, the fabric snags and whips into the drum. In seconds, the machine vibrates violently, shaking the crowded table. Tools scatter as operators rush to cut the power. Only when the motor stops does the runaway motion finally subside. Eliminate entanglement hazards at the source. Guard every rotating part and interlock access so the winder cannot run when the feed area is open. And require close-fitting workwear. No scarves, dupattas, around turning machinery. In a crowded fuel yard, a worker standing high on a tanker makes one careless move that triggers a reaction capable of wiping out everything around him. The midday sun beats down on a crowded yard of tanker trucks. One man stands on top of a white tanker using a metal tool, unaware that every strike inches closer to ignition. In an instant, the tank ignites and flames leap upward. The blast transforms the yard into chaos, threatening not just one vehicle, but the entire line of fuel-filled tankers. Never, ever work with tools or open equipment on a fuel tanker without strict control of ignition sources. Vapors are invisible, but they turn the smallest spark into a deadly explosion. This was preventable. Fuel handling demands grounded tools, vapor control, and zero tolerance for ignition. In tanker yards, one careless act doesn't just endanger a worker, it puts the entire fleet at risk. Don't forget to share what you learned today in the comments. Your insight could save a life. Take care.